The EDL are now being urgently investigated by various police forces attempting to discover who they are and how much of a threat they represent to law and order. Anti-fascist campaigners say they're mainly hooligans. They claim they're merely patriots. To try to find out more, Newsnight asked Porrick O'Brien to investigate.
The front line of an English Defence League demo in Manchester on Saturday. It didn't look pretty, but it all passed off peacefully enough. It's the third time EDL have taken to the streets. Leeds and Nottingham are next. I was introduced to the men of the English Defence League about a month ago when I was invited along to Luton for a press conference like no other.
So, we've been told to come to this old disused warehouse in Luton for the promotional shoot. All very cloak and dagger. And we're meeting some of the Luton division. There's some of them there. Luton division of EDL up here.
This is Tommy Robinson, EDL's spokesperson. It's not his real name. The real Tommy Robinson is an infamous football hooligan associated with Luton Town Football Club.
We're doing it to stand up against Islamic extremists who have been unchallenged in our country for 10 to 15 years. They're recruiting on our streets, in our universities, in our colleges, and the government are doing nothing about it. And to be honest, we don't feel the Islamic community are doing anything about it.
The point of this evening was to show us that they're not Nazis, so they decided to burn a swastika on camera, as you do. But it proved stubbornly incombustible. Finally, the petrol was called for.
Relentlessly pursuing you in our quest to see all Sharia banished from our great democratic country. Long live the free.
They said they wore the balaclavas for fear of reprisals, but it was hard not to get the feeling that they were enjoying it somehow.
Is this look as intimidating as a burqa? Is exactly the same as a burqa. How do you think we feel when we walk into Islamic communities where every single woman down there is wearing a burqa? How do you think our children feel when they're 5 years old and they stand in the bank next to a burqa?
Oh, well, come on, Tommy. When there's like 15 lads here in balaclavas burning the swastika in a, disused warehouse. I mean, it sends out a certain message, doesn't it? It
sends out a message that we hate Nazis and we will stand up against Islamic extremists in this country. That's the message we're sending out.
But in standing up, is there a militant undertone to that?
There's no militant undertone. We will peacefully protest, but we will not be scared into silence.
The big EDL divisions are in Bristol, Birmingham and Luton. They have a female division headed up by this woman.
We've been called racist, we've been called BNP. The BNP have publicly announced us on their website. We aren't racist, we have many members of every nationality.
And a youth wing. Joel Titus is in charge of that. Joel is 18. His dad is Irish, his mother Afro-Caribbean. He lives in Harrow in North London with his grandparents. I met him there last week.
What else does EDL give you in terms of, I don't know, socially?
Socially, you're going to... People from all over the country, you're going to meet new people.
Yeah.
Socially, you meet a lot of new people you come close to, friends, people that you probably wouldn't have ever met.
Yeah. Like, is it exciting?
It's exciting, yeah.
I wanted to try to find out whether in fact there was an element of trying to provoke a reaction from the Muslim community at EDL demos.
If a large group of Muslim youths show up in Manchester on Saturday and it kicks off because you're there, that plays into your hand in some way.
Because in the paper it should and it will say that they started the violence.
And that plays into your hand?
Yes.
That didn't happen on Saturday largely because Muslim leaders made sure it didn't. When it comes to EDL though, there is of course a difference between just looking scary and being dangerous. So, are they dangerous? About a fortnight ago I was invited along to a pub in East London. The leadership of EDL were meeting some potential sponsors. One of them was an IT consultant working in one of the banks in the city. They were here offering technical expertise to EDL. During the course of the conversation, I was told that somebody from the Ulster Defence Association had been in contact, interested in starting up a branch in Northern Ireland. Now, all this, of course, could have been just bluster, but it poses a serious question about EDL. Are they becoming a sort of lightning rod for people altogether more intelligent and altogether more sinister? Professor Matthew Goodwin is an expert on the far right, an advisor to the Home Office.
What we see in EDL at the moment is quite similar to some of the movements we saw in the 1970s and also some of the movements that we see in Europe today, which are really torn between different factions. Some want to contest elections, some want to stay on the streets, some would like to see it perhaps evolve beyond this single issue, and they'd like to see it become a more broad-based movement. So we really, at the moment, don't know which way it's going to go.
One way it's going is it's getting more organised. Back in September at EDL's Birmingham demo, there were 90 arrests and the demonstrations were far more chaotic. Assistant Chief Constable Sharon Rowe had to pick up the pieces. She now chairs a cross-constabulary group of police gathering intelligence on EDL.
I think we saw a change after Birmingham, where again on their social networking sites they're now publishing dates as to when their next protests are going to be around the country. Whereas in the beginning, back on the 5th of September in Birmingham, there was quite a feeling of them being disorganised.